Alright guys, so we're going to go over in this video how you can plan your teams so that you can get the appropriate artifacts on your characters to maximize your damage. This will give you the starting point, and this video is going to be the reference guide for a lot of other videos that's going to be going over artifacts for specific characters. So guys, without further ado, let's go jump into it. There are four major types of characters that you have to realize that there are in the game. You can delineate them however you want, but they kind of break down like this. The first one's your primary DPS character. This is the character that's going to be out a lot of the time when you're auto-attacking and just waiting to do more damage with your other elemental synergies. Second character that's going to be on your team is going to be a damage enabler. This is something that will actually proc elemental reactions. For a lot of people, that character is going to be Zhang Ling. Zhang Ling is an incredibly good free-to-play unit. This unit has an ability where she puts out a bear in front of her, and the bear in front of her, of course, will proc elemental reactions and just do fire breaths over and over again. It's a very nice character that you can use in order to do that. There are lots of different kinds of damage enablers in the game. Another one could be Venti, where you're using Venti to use the support DPS in order to get lots of swirl reactions on characters, or using Ultimate to do swirl reactions. It's a very, very common way to use it. Another character that would be really interesting to see is an Ultimate Rusher. Now, Ultimate Rushers are characters that use your Elemental Burst and try to rush your Elemental Burst as quick as possible. One of the sets that you can use, of course, to do that is the Exile set. And the Exile set, of course, will give you more energy, which will give you more energy recharge rate. And this is good for characters like Mona or characters like that will actually use their ultimate and do maximum damage. If you don't know what Mona's ultimate does, it improves the entire damage of your entire team for 4 seconds and gives you a 42% damage bump. And because you're trying to do a large amount of damage to a target, getting the ultimate up numerous times is very, very effective to get multiple damage rushes off on the enemies. If you're using this in tandem with a Venti ultimate or something similar, this is a character that would enable a lot of ultimates, which is very, very good. The last kind of character on the team that you can bring is going to be a healer, and that would be like Barbara or Chi-Chi, and these types of characters are characters that rely solely on getting lots of either HP for Barbara, or for Chi-Chi is the case for lots of attack. And this gives you more healing based on your either HP or attack depending on the unit you're using. Barbara, of course, needs lots of HP, so the way you build her, of course, for any type of artifact is with HP to get more healing. Now, Barbara is one of those characters that you can actually just build with a full maiden set, go with a full healing route and just get every healing piece in the entire game. It's really simple to build healers for artifacts. You just build strictly for the heal. It's super easy. However you maximize the heal, that's what you get. Really not that hard to do. Now, but secondary DPS and Ultimate Rushers, that starts to get a little tricky. And there's a lot more alter artifact sets that go out there that are a little bit out of the word. So if you open your artifact set, you can actually find out all the different artifact sets that are out there in the game, and there are many of them that are a little bit higher end, a little bit lower end. It really depends on like where you are in the game. One of the sets that I like using right now is called the Instructor set, and as an early game player, an Instructor set is a really, really valuable set. What this set does, it allows your characters to do large amounts of elemental damage by proccing elemental reactions. If you don't know what Elemental Mastery is and you're not really sure what to use it for, Elemental Mastery is the ability to actually increase the amount of damage based on an elemental reaction. So if you go to your details kit, you can see over here, elemental reaction will have based on the total amount of elemental mastery you have. Well, the higher chance of elemental mastery, the stronger the elemental energy that can be released. Increase the damage, of course, by vaporize and melt by 33%. Also increase the damage of overload, superconduct, electrocard, shattered, and swirl, which is of course Venti, by 80%. Because so if you get a large amount of swirl damage, you get a large amount of damage on enemies, giving you a very large amount of elemental reactions and damage. So it is a very good way to go. Now, the other things that you can get on any type of artifacts, of course, besides that, on one of the pieces, which is going to be, not this piece, the goblet piece, or the goblet of Ionium, is going to have the elemental damage bonus piece. And this piece cannot have attack, HP, defense, or can have a specific type of elemental damage bonus. So you can actually go with that route in order to give yourself a very large amount of damage with a specific type of element. And this is really good for characters like Venti, of course, that can actually utilize this. Then you get large amounts of elemental mastery as well as low elemental skill damage to enable more and more damage in your team. And that's how a synergy comp would work with elemental masteries as well as elemental damage. Now, now, Sekapoko, that sounds extremely complicated and I do not really understand super much. Well, the simple part is you build one character to support your other character. What's the other character, which is your primary DPS? Well, for me right now, that character is Beidou. And the reason Beidou is my primary DPS is because I really like her. She's really cool. I just want to play her. But another character could be Chungyang, Diluc, but pretty much anybody that you want to use. Qiqing. Any of your 5 stars are really good. You could even consider Jean potentially as one, but many of the characters that you'll be using that you need to keep out all the time to see a large amount of damage on them, those are called primary DPS characters, or carries, or what you want to do. Now, Beidou is an incredible unit to use out there on the field because, of course, Beidou increases her, if you wanted to do what she does, she has an ability called Full Counter, and she basically takes any damage that you receive and reflects it back to the enemy and does massive damage. And then she has an ability to change her overall auto attacks into lightning attacks and do large amounts of elemental damage. And of course that can synergize very well with other characters and do crazy amounts of damage. And seeing how they're all normal attack damage, you can actually use artifacts that boost your normal attack damage with her to get large amounts of damage. So that is what carries do. They basically can boost your total amount of they're the primary character that's out there all the time doing lots of damage. So if you wanted to boost your overall damage, you want to have one character built out in a primary DCS fashion. You want to have at least one damage enabler character that's built out in some kind of way that boosts elemental reactions, and you want to have another character, potentially, you don't have to, built out for ultimate rushing to get large amounts of ultimates on your team. And of course, you do want a healer to make your life easier a lot of the time, and that 4-set team composition, you build your artifacts around those types of playstyles. Now, that doesn't mean that every single character I mentioned is built out in that way, and you have to use them solely in that way. Venti can be used, of course, for archery, and you can use him specifically for putting lots of amounts of damage for your white attacks and build them out that way. You can build out Zhangling in a different way instead, and you can actually build her out specifically to do large amounts of auto attack damage because you want to keep her out all the time. There's tons of different ways you can build these units. So just know that the characters, as I've mentioned them, do not have to be played in the exact same way that I've mentioned them. You can play them in different ways. I've played Zhangling as a primary DPS character, and I have played Fischl as a primary DPS character, but I've also played both of those characters as supporting characters for DPS, so you can use them in multiple different ways. You just have to be creative in how you want to do things, and build your teams and your artifacts specifically so that you have the best possible situation for the most amount of damage. But Sekapoko, I am confusion, please help. Alright, my guy, chill. So basically, you got the dude. You throw out the elemental reaction thing. Look at that, the swirly thing, that does elemental reaction damage. Look at that. Okay, another character, elemental reaction character, and then your big character comes out and she goes ba-bam, and ba-bam, 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 and then you have all the damage coming at the same time. Okay, you understand now? Okay, cool. Alright guys, well my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh my god, I'm swimming. Thank you so much for watching. Again, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.